Welcome everyone for today's video from SuperUnited Blitz Croatia 2025. We have Magnus Carlsen facing Giri Anish in round 10, shaking hands and start with knight f3, knight f6, and we have c4, c5, symmetrical English opening, g3, d5 takes with the knight, bishop g2, and knight c6, knight c3, and knight came back to c7. Interesting move by Giri. Castled by Carson, and we have e5 by Giri. Now Carson play a3, maybe preparing for b4, and we have rook b8. Also, maybe preparing for b5 by Giri. Or b1 and bishop e7. d3 by Magnus and castled by Giri. The position is still equal, nothing new. Now what to do by Magnus? Can he play before? I think he cannot. We have bishop e3, making pressure on c5 pawn. From which side Giri will develop his bishop, from e6 or from b6 and bishop a6. He's still thinking. And he played a5, controlling the b4 square. And we have knight d2 by Magnus. Maybe he wants to put the knight on c4 and opening diagonal for his bishop. And we have bishop d7 and Magnus play f4, not allow the black to play b5 and controlling the square c4 for his knight. We have b6 by Giri and Magnus play knight c4. Very nice place for his knight. And now making pressure on e5. Maybe he can take the knight and then he wants the pawn on e5. But this is dangerous because the bishop on g2 is very important for the white. Rook e8. And now we have f4 by Magnus. Start attacking the center. So pawn takes, and he takes by the bishop. Now the knight on c7 is pen. So we have knight b4. Every player have 3 minutes on the clock. We have knight b5 by Magnus. Not a good move. Maybe Giri can take this knight with his bishop, and he did it. He took by the knight and sacrificed the rock. Bishop takes rock, and the queen takes bishop on b8, and then he takes the pawn on b5. He sacrificed his rook for bishop and pawn, and the position is better for black. b3 by Magnus, protecting his knight on c4. We have bishop d7 by Giri. So queen d2. Bishop e6, and we have queen came to f4, offering to exchange the queen, but Giri refused. He played queen on d8. h4 by Magnus. He start attacking the king side because in the queen side he cannot do anything. We have knight d5 attacking the white queen on 4. Bishop takes knight, and bishop takes bishop. A very nice position for the black, controlling all the square with his two bishop. So king h2. Now we have b5, kicking the knight from his good square c4. And now if he go with the knight to the e3, he can play bishop d6, and then he can take the pawn on h4 because the pawn on g3 is pinned. So what to do by Magnus? He cannot move his knight because the knight controlling the d6 square, not allowing the bishop to come attacking the queen. So the best move may be now for Carlsen to play e4, I think. He played it, e4 on the board. Bishop came back to e6, and the knight came to e5. Not good position for Carlsen. I don't know if he can survive or not. bishop f6 by Giri. Knight came to g4. He want to get rid of one of that bishop because the bishop is controlling all the board. Maybe better move for Giri to go with his bishop for c3 and then play a4 or b4 or c4. Anything he will have fast pawn on the queen side and he can win the game. He took the knight with his bishop and this is not good move. Takes by the queen and the queen takes pawn on d3. Now the position is equal but not easy for Carlsen to survive. So rook d1, rook b d1, attacking the black queen. Black came to c2 check and the king came to h3. He cannot take the pawn on b3 because Magnus maybe anytime can take the bishop on f6 because the pawn on g7 is bent. So we have bishop d4 and then Magnus play queen to d2, d7 and queen takes pawn on b5. We have queen e4 by Giri and rook a1. Queen came back to a8 and the rook came to the e7. And all the pressure will be on f7. So queen c8 and the queen came to d7, exchange the queen, and now we have h5 by Giri and rook a7 by Magnus. He want to take the pawn on a5, f6, and the rook take pawn, rook on b8, and rook came to f3. The position now equal or better, slightly better for Carlsen. And now both player is under the time pressure. They will play fast, but the position still equal. Anyone can make mistake in this position. Now the position is Druid. Good move by Carlsen. Exchanges pawn on f4. And now Giri cannot do anything. I think Magnus will survive. Of course, he will not change the rook. Nothing to do. Giri trying to win this Druid position. repeating the same position. And finally, f5, very nice move by Carlsen, and now the draw will come because he will take one of those two pawns and one pawn. He cannot do anything, and now both players agree for draw. A very nice escape by the world champion. He survived from lost position. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.